All right. So thank you very much. I see someone in the, some people are typing already. Thank you. Building a portfolio that attracts clients. Thank you. Building a portfolio that attracts clients. So we're going to be looking at that topic this evening. I'll share my screen so I delve right into the topic right away. So just a moment. Okay, so I'm trying to share my screen and then we can get started from there. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Do well to let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen, please? All right, so again, I may have to join with my smartphone in the long run once my PC battery is down. So I'm just going to delve right into it. So once again, you're welcome. If at any point in time you cannot see my screen, please do well to let me know in the chat, right, that you cannot. Just let me know that you cannot. So our topic, or the topic I'll be speaking on this evening, is building a portfolio that attracts and creating a, how to create a winning portfolio that can convert a client as a beginner. So some time ago, I shared on my LinkedIn channel, LinkedIn page rather, how that I had this experience with getting to, convert a client with the portfolio I had at the time, which even when I look at it now, I feel like it wasn't even so good enough, but perhaps because of how it was put together and the content in it as well. So I stumbled on someone on in a group, a design group, right, a design community, was asking if if a designer was available to take up a role. So I reached out to the person. Oh dear. All right, so that happened. I'll be sharing my screen with my phone now. I hope you bear with me. So I was speaking on the fact that some time ago, I had this experience, came across a job of a person who needed a designer. So the first thing the person asked for was my portfolio, which is something that many of us do not really take or put more attention in, not because we don't have good designs, not because we're not good with our design skill, but we just haven't given it enough time to create a portfolio for ourselves. And there would be a time when this would be very, very needed, right, in your design career. It may come a time where it may just be when you are not expecting it, that someone or an opportunity would come, and then there's going to be a need for a portfolio. Please, I'd love to know if you can still see my screen. Just confirm in the chat if you can see my screen so that I fire on. All right, thank you very much. So moving on. So this person reached out to me mentioning that he needed a designer to work on a couple of designs for them for an event they had, and asked to see my portfolio. So at the time, I had my portfolio on Google Drive. So I was using Google Drive. I had all my designs put together in different folders on Google Drive. So I instantly sent him the link. And after checking through my portfolio, he gave a feedback telling me that he was so amazed at what he saw there, and he has no doubts that I'll be able to take the job well. Now, here's the twist about it. Before I reached out to him rather, I was charging 3,000 naira for flyer designs. That was like, I think 2 years ago. So I was still, learning and improving my skill. In fact, I think most of the jobs I did then were even free designs, most of them, or things I did on volunteer basis, right? Because I wasn't really so keen on monetizing my skill as a designer. But then I think I joined a particular class. I paid for a class, and one of the speakers, Mr. Tola, I remember, spoke about, and other speakers, of course, they spoke on how to, how they were able to scale their design business, in the business of design, which is one thing that people don't really learn a lot, how to monetize your skill, pricing and all of that. So that's one of the things I learned from that course. And immediately hearing the amount, I started hearing them talking about how that design was able to, has been their source of income, helping them sustain their family, helping them do certain things. And I'm like, is it the same design that I'm doing and I'm charging 3,000 naira for? That some people are earning, they're talking about earning in millions from design. And this sparked up something in my head. And immediately I got angry within my spirit that something has to change with how I charge. And then when these clients reached out to me and asked me, how much do I charge for a flyer design? Me that usually would charge 3,000 naira. Because of a change of orientation I had then, just from, I think less than 24 hours or so, I told him 10,000 naira. And although he was a bit reluctant initially, I told him that amount before I showed him my portfolio. But by the time he saw my portfolio, he was convinced enough that it was worth it. And we didn't have to go back and forth so much. There were other designs I had to do. Then I earned more than what I have been earning before as a designer. Someone said it's cracking. Can you hear me well? Can every other person hear me clearly? Please, can every other person hear me clearly? Just let me know if it's the same, so I know that it is probably my network that is misbehaving. So I'm not living in a village, but somehow the network this week has not been friendly. So, all right, others can hear me. If you can't hear me, I think someone said they can't hear me clearly. Some people can hear me clearly. So I'm guessing it's perhaps the network from your end. Maybe if you can leave the call and try to join again. But please let me know if it's still the same thing so that I would see what I can do about it. All right, a couple of people said they can't hear me clearly. All right, some people said it's clear. So please try to maybe exit the call and try to join again if you can't hear me. So moving on. So that was how, due to a portfolio, I was able to convince a client that it was worth paying a particular amount for a design, even though initially it wasn't the amount I would check. So please do how to mute your mic if you are not speaking so that it doesn't distract me in the session. Then you can always just let me know if you've got a question. Now, I also wanted to say before moving on that I know most of the things I'm talking about, they are not new to many of us. And as I would always say, it is the action you put into the knowledge and the information you get that gives you results. It's not more about joining the webinar every month, but more about what you do with the things that you hear from here. And also, I don't know it all. So I'm only sharing from my own experience. I'm only sharing from what has worked for me, what I know, and you're free to definitely still, explore, try to find out more information from what I'll be sharing. So make up your mind that everything you would hear from now, but I don't just want people that will come listen, but also people that will take action after now. One thing I love to do, perhaps when we get to meet again, you share with me what you've done based on the things that we've said so far today. So how far have you gone with your portfolio? Have you been able to get that done? So moving on. So I just shared how getting a portfolio, having a portfolio was a win for me. It really helped me. And since then, I took portfolio building seriously, because you never can tell who or when the opportunity would come, and you've got to be ready for it. So moving on, the things I'm going to be talking about is we'll be talking on what portfolio is. We're talking about why you need a portfolio. We're talking about how to build a portfolio even as a complete beginner. We'll also be talking about the key elements you need to build a portfolio. And finally, tools to create a portfolio. Before I run on, how many of us have a portfolio here? Like you have one in one way or the other. Any kind of portfolio. Please let me know in the chat. If you've got a portfolio, you have a portfolio. Okay, someone said Google Drive. Debbie said Google Drive. Thank you. If you have a portfolio, you have a portfolio. Let me know. Oluwasegun said he has. Michael said he has. All right. And oh god. Ram said he has. Victor said he doesn't. Awesome. Emmanuel said it doesn't have. So in the course of this webinar, you're going to learn various ways where you can improve on your portfolio if you have already. Various ways where you can create your portfolio that you don't have yet, right? So even if you're a beginner, even if you are not a beginner, you already have designs. There are things I'll be sharing now that will speak volume and help you. So the first thing I'll be asking or talking about is, what is a winning portfolio? What is a winning portfolio? I'm sure you've heard portfolio. And just to be sure that I don't assume everybody knows what a portfolio is, I like to share what I believe a portfolio should be. So before, I used to think a portfolio is just, maybe a file where you put a lot of documents that, for career people that look for jobs and all of that. When I got into design, I found out that it goes beyond that. So a portfolio for me is simply a collection of, your best work, right? Your work that you've done as a designer. So I wrote here that a portfolio is a created collection of the best work that showcases your skill, expertise, and experience in a particular field. So the portfolio not only showcases your skill, it also showcases your expertise and also your experience in a particular field, right? So for a designer, a portfolio is usually just, the projects you've worked on, a couple of designs you've done before. When someone asks to see your portfolio, they want to see what you have done before. Usually, before people would hire you, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, they want to see a track record of what you have done before. So sometimes, some of them would have checked out your social media pages. For those of you that have one, someone is saying my voice is low. Okay. All right, I'll try to speak a bit louder. I hope that helps. So I was saying that for some of us that have social media pages, some people would go to your social media page and check out your profile before they even reach out to you. For some of you that have WhatsApp catalog and you leverage that, you'd see that some people would even check your WhatsApp catalog to be able to see that, to see what you've done before. So everybody wants to be sure that like people that want to hire you, they want to be sure that you have the solution to their problem. It's just like people looking for somebody that has Panadol, right? They have headache and they have Panadol. They're looking for someone that has a cure to their problem. You don't just tell me that you are a graphic designer. You show me that you are really a graphic designer. And I want to see it with everything. Like if I check your page, I should be able to tell that you are one. But some people want to even go further and request to see your portfolio. Do you have a portfolio? And most of the time, when you want to apply for jobs, usually they would often ask for your CV and your portfolio. Can anyone read it? Have you ever had to apply for a job and maybe because you did not have a portfolio, you did not proceed to apply? In some cases, some people have actually lost opportunities because they were unable to provide a portfolio or because they did not have a portfolio that they could use. So in order to avoid losing opportunities, in order to avoid missing out on things that would benefit you, right? Jobs that would come, and because you don't have a portfolio. Now, this is something that I think last year was when a couple of times people would send me job opportunities and ask if I could share with my community. If they have a portfolio, they should send their portfolio and CV to a particular email. Most people could not apply, right? It's not that their designs were not good. They couldn't apply because there was no portfolio. And that's how these opportunities will keep passing you by simply because you fail to have a collection of your best work. An emphasis on best work. A portfolio is not a combination of all the designs you've created since the day they gave birth to you. No. Only your best work should be in your portfolio. So I'm just going to move on. And here I mentioned that why do you need a portfolio? So someone may wonder, why do I need to get a portfolio? Is it really necessary? Don't I have a social media account? Isn't that going to be enough? Don't I have my designs on LinkedIn, my designs on Pinterest? isn't that supposed to be enough? Number one thing, why you need a portfolio is, number one, it helps to build credibility. Credibility simply means trust. So when people want to work with you, they want to trust that you are able to work, to do the work well and deliver excellently. And one thing that convinces them, because most times designers would love to be paid upfront, right? You don't want to do a design and then you're not the one chasing the clients about. So usually what we do is we tell the clients to pay upfront so that we are sure that we won't have stories that touch later on. Now, what would make a client trust you to pay you and not be, wondering whether this person will not go and combine rainbow colors for my design, right? The only reason why they can really trust and believe that you can do it well is when you are able to show them what you have done before, your track record, right? Your track record. So what have you done before? What people you have worked with? Which is one of the things that you can even include in your portfolio, the people that you've worked with before, right? Second one is client acquisition. If you want to get clients, if you want to maybe even get job opportunities, apply for jobs on LinkedIn. There are a lot of job opportunities on LinkedIn that you can apply for. And trust me, each one of them would always need to see your portfolio. So in 2025, if one of your goals is to earn as a designer from your design skill, if one of your goals is to be able to get clients as a designer, then you need to take out time to create your portfolio. And I do not mean portfolio that you've done 2 years ago that shows the work that you have done in the past. You are no longer in the past. You are in 2025. So you've got to make sure that whatever you have in your portfolio are your recent work and that they showcase your best work. So you don't need to have them crowded with so many designs, but only your best work. So the third one is conversion. Conversion simply means when they see what you've done before, you're able to get them to hire you, to be able to employ you, or to be able to employ your services. So those are the reasons why getting a portfolio is very important, whether you're a beginner, intermediary, or an expert. So again, it's not every person that actually gets a portfolio. Some people are able to get jobs without needing a portfolio, maybe through referrals. But if you haven't gotten to that stage yet where people are referring you, then you know that you have to sit down with this. So I wrote here also that your social media page is not your portfolio as a designer. One of the mistakes that most of us make is we only have our designs on our social media page. We only have our designs on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and every gram that is out there. But you don't have a real portfolio. Your portfolio is not your social media page. Your portfolio is not your WhatsApp catalog, what you have in your WhatsApp catalog. So that is not your portfolio. It is called social media for a reason. So you just use it to create content to be able to, attract the kind of audience that you want to yourself, and for you to be able to connect and network with people. But that doesn't make it your portfolio. So I think it's but it's not wrong anyways. I know designers that when clients reach out to them, they share and they ask for their portfolio. They just send them their Instagram link, right? So in some cases that actually works so well, but that's actually not your portfolio. So moving on, the question here is, how do I build a portfolio as a beginner? So I spoke about this in one of my LinkedIn posts last year, right? How that even as a complete beginner, you can build a portfolio. Now, how would that happen? And I'm sharing basically what has worked for me. I'm sharing basically what I have done before, right? And I believe that it should be able to work for you too. So, excuse me. So, as a designer, even though you are just starting out and you've grown your skill to an extent where you know that people will be willing to pay for, the kind of designs that you do, but you've been there. January has passed. Now February has finished today, and one single person has approached you to design for them. And then you still feel like, even if I want to apply for jobs, they're always asking for a portfolio. What do I now say when I have not really gotten any clients? here's what I did that worked for me. So I started off with, taking up volunteer roles. So I started off with reaching out to people that I know need my services, even without them reaching out to me first. So I think even when I started off with learning video animations, and I remember that there were some people that I just went to their business page. I checked out the content they put out, gathered information about what they did, got pictures and all of that. And I created a video for them, sent it to them. Now, this wasn't something that they required or requested from me to do. But for one of them that I even did it for, referred me to other people. And for one that I also did it for, gave me free access to a class I could not even afford to join. So I was also doing that as a graphic designer. So there were people or organizations or, some maybe, would I say ministries, right, that I was a team in. I volunteered to do designs, and then I wasn't expecting any payments. I wasn't even doing it for them to pay me. I wasn't doing it for them to, maybe refer me or anything. But as I began to do those designs on a volunteer basis, it helped to give me a collection of designs that I could put in my portfolio. The mistake that some of us, or I wouldn't say mistake, but the thing, one thing that some people actually do is they prefer to create fictional designs. You can also do that to create your portfolio, right? Try to work on, but I do not really advise using fictional designs. Reason because fictional designs will not be used by anyone. Number one, you won't be able to get feedback from anybody, whether there's a mistake or anything. So in your own eyes, definitely design will be good. But if you create a design for someone, the person will be able to share feedback on what they think. Oh, this is not right. You get feedback, criticisms on your designs. You also get to know areas that you need to improve on. And then by the time the design is even used by someone, a business owner, you never can tell who will see it, and then they will be able to recommend other people to you. So I would always strongly recommend that if you're able to volunteer your services as a designer to people that need your service, or perhaps even looking out for internship roles, it's going to help you gather your portfolio as a beginner. So you don't have to only do dummy designs that will not be reused. Look out for people, real life people, right? Business owners, churches, or organizations that need designs, and try to create designs for them. By the time you do that, you are gathering your portfolio that you can use to win your next client. So that's one way that I know that you can use to build your portfolio as a beginner. So let's look at the key elements. What are the things that you should consider? What are the things that you need to put in place when you are building the portfolio that you want to attract kind of clients that you want? So these are the things that you need to consider when building a portfolio, depending on the platform. So I'm going to share some things, but it depends on the tool that you're using for your portfolio building. One of the things that you want to do in your portfolio is to give a brief introduction about you. I know usually what we're used to doing is just putting a collection of designs somewhere, and maybe they just want to see my design. It's just designs they want to see. You show it to them, and that's all. But a well-crafted portfolio would come out better if you have a brief introduction about you, about what you do. You could even put in there your experience as a designer. I know this is not your CV. Your CV is supposed to do all of that. But other times, they won't ask for your CV. They just want to see your portfolio. Just a brief sentence about you would work. And also, you then proceed to showcase your best work. Again, not just any work, but your best designs. So the designs that you know stand out well. And that's why, as you think about getting clients, you also should think about how to improve your skill on a daily basis. You don't want a situation whereby you're seeing designs that cannot convert somebody, designs that cannot convince somebody that you can do it. And I shared earlier this morning how I tried to get volunteers for this conference I did earlier on, the Accelerated Students Conference, and then the people, some of the applications I received, by the time I checked through the work, it wasn't convincing enough that these people could deliver. Now, this was even a volunteer role. Imagine if it was a paid role. So that's why you want to ensure you keep putting in the best, always ensuring that you are refining your skill, you are learning something new every single day. Because the kind of portfolio that is going to really convert and win a client is one that, that has quality work. So it's okay to be a work in progress. It's okay to still be a designer, but as time goes on, don't remain on the same level. Make sure you keep improving yourself. And don't say that it's on the design gets perfect before you create a portfolio. The truth is, at that level that you are designing, there are still some people that will be interested in paying you for that services, for what you do. So you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be able to design like those top people, right? Before you think of creating a portfolio. I've seen some people get paid, and then when I check the designs they did, you'll be amazed that, so somebody can actually pay for this. So that tells you that at every level, there will still be some people that will be willing to pay for the kind of design you're doing. But again, it doesn't mean that you should remain at that level. Make sure that you keep improving and, increasing your value as a designer. So showcase your best work. Make sure you do it in a very organized and orderly manner. Some people just get a Google Drive folder and then they put all their designs there, whether it is a church flyer, whether it is a party flyer, an event flyer, everything just on one page, and that's it. A better way to arrange it, if you're even using Google Drive, you could have different folders, right, that has a collection of similar designs. Maybe a church flyer in a particular folder, maybe birthday flyers in another folder. This way, it's more orderly for you to be able to showcase. If you're using what's it called now? A Google Drive, right? But if you're using other means as well, make sure to have them in a well arranged manner so that it doesn't just look clumsy and everything just together. The third one is particular to those that do maybe brand identity and UI UX. You should have a brief description about the projects that you are talking about. So you want to give a brief description, right? But if you're creating flyers, you may not really want to do that, except if you're doing branding, right? When it comes to branding, when it comes to UI UX, you need to create what we call a case study, where you are telling us, taking us to the process of how you were able to do this. Okay, when you finish this particular part of the design, because when it comes to UI UX and brand identity, it's not just like flyer design that you do in 2 hours and you're done. Some of them requires you doing research. Some of them requires you doing certain things like that. So when you do these things step by step, you want to highlight them in your case study. So this is, again, just for mainly for people that do UI UX and mainly for people that do brand identity. So you want to give a brief description about the project in your portfolio, kind of like a case study. And then the next one is, if possible, show testimonials. So I talked about volunteering. One of the things you could ask in return for volunteering is testimonials. So whenever you do work for people, whether even if it is free or not, whether if it is a paid role, whether if it is a volunteer role, it's important that you request for testimonials. So you can just let them know or ask them to share with you their experience while working with you, or what do they think about your services and how you're able to deliver the work. And by the time they send it to you, you also let them know that you like to include it in your portfolio, right? So that way, people would see beyond what you say you can do. They will be able to see what other people are saying about your service, about what you do as a designer. So you can actually have testimonials included in your portfolio. The fifth one here is include a call to action. So most of the time, again, we just pour all our designs in one place. There is no call to action, although usually you send a portfolio after you've had a conversation with a prospect and then just want to see what you can do. So sometimes they may not want to start checking for the contact info there, but you never can tell where it should be needed. So it's important that you have a call to action, like contact me now, or hire me now, or reach out to me now, or book a call now, or something like that. And then your contact info, how they can contact you. If you've got maybe an email address or something, you could also have them there. And the final thing I wrote here is keep your portfolio updated. So as you keep creating new stuff, make sure to update your portfolio. A lot of times, designers are lazy about going to portfolio. It's not always easy. and I'm guilty of that as well. One of the, let's say, New Year resolutions. Well, one of the things that I made up my mind to do this year was at the start of the year, I wanted to make sure that I had my portfolio done. So I wanted to update it so that I have that ready at least for the next few months. So make sure that as you're creating new designs, as you're coming up with something new, you are doing what? Updating your portfolio. You are updating your portfolio. If you're still following me, just write following. If you're still following me, type following in the chat box so that I know that I'm not talking to myself and somebody is listening. Awesome. Thank you very much. So these are the things that you should take note of when you're creating a portfolio. Now, moving on, we're looking now at the tools to create a portfolio. Thank you so much. So what are the tools that you need? I think I may do a little bit more here, and then I think this is the final part for this portfolio session. So what are the tools that you need? I know some of us are familiar with Google Drive. Some of us are not even familiar with anyone at all. Don't worry, that's why you're here. Some of us are familiar with other platforms. So I'm just going to share, again, I always love to share what has worked for me, what I know about, and I feel that can help you. So these are the tools I have used before, right, when creating portfolio. Number one is graphic design tools. I'm going to spell them out so that everybody can, to give them in details, right? Graphic design tools, such as Canva. You can create your portfolio with Canva. You can create your portfolio with Figma and the likes, right? You can also use file and cloud storage. And what I mean by file and cloud storage is your Google Drive and your Dropbox, all those cloud storages that you know of. And then you can also use platforms like portfolio. They're what we call portfolio platforms. So the main essence of them is for you to be able to put together your portfolio, majorly for designers too. So we have some of them. The ones I know so well are Behance and Dribble, right? You may have heard of it before. If you haven't heard of it before, here today. So those are portfolio platforms. And number 4 is to create a website portfolio using web builders. So we have what we call web builders that are even free, and you can actually use to create portfolio. So I'm just going to break them down and talk about them step by step. And this is going to be the final part, and then we wrap up with the session tonight. So get ready with your questions. If you have questions for me, if you'd love to also share 3 other portfolio tips that you know, I would gladly love to hear them. Again, like I said, I don't know it, so I'm going to shine from the knowledge I have. So the first one I wrote here is graphic design tools. So I know some of us are familiar with using, I think I started off with using PDFs for my portfolio. So that will be able to put, I think, about 10 flyers or so in a PDF, that's document. You just go on your Word document, your WPS, and put together designs you have there, and then convert it to PDF, and then you can always share that when someone requests for your portfolio. But a better way to do that, if you use for your design tools that you use, whether you use Canva, whether you use Figma, whether you use Photoshop, CorelDRAW, you can actually create something for yourself that is in form of a portfolio, and then you download it as PDF. So that way you'll be able to put all the ingredients I had mentioned earlier, a brief about you, testimonials of clients that you have, contact infos. So you'll be able to do it in a more appealing manner. So I've seen some people do that before, right? And I would have loved to, I don't know, maybe just give an example of what, okay, someone said I should repeat what I said. So I don't know which part, but I was talking about the first way, or the first tool that I'll be talking about regarding using a portfolio. So building your portfolio, you can actually get started with using your graphic design tool. Regardless of the tool you use as a designer, you can try creating something. Now, don't make it too, because we are designers now, we want to overly design it so that it is eye-catching. It doesn't need so much decorations. Just something simple, straightforward, not too wordy. The main thing they want to see is your designs,
not stories, not so much of words. All right, more of your design, less words rather. So you try to maybe give a brief intro about yourself on, Canva. Something you can easily just do on Canva, download it as PDF, and then you're good to go. So you can create something on Canva. You can use Figma rather. You can also use Notion. For some of us that do not know Notion, this is Notion here. This app over here. So this is Notion. You can install and download it, and this way you can use it to create your portfolio. So you see here that I have a couple of stuff here, a couple of things that I've put together as my portfolio, right? Although I don't majorly use Notion, I just tried it out to see how it works, right? So you can come over to Notion, have your things put together, right? And try to, there isn't any complexities about it, to be honest. So I didn't have anybody teach me. I just came over here and tried to see how it works. So by the time you come on here, you're able to just write something. Let's say my name is Esther Kodu. Now I don't know what to write. Okay, let's say something like, I am a creative designer with so and so years of experience and all of that story. So I write what I want to write here. Then I come over here. I'm able to, you may not see what I'm typing, or I'm tapping on rather. But if you look at my keypad here, I have somewhere where it has a photos icons. So the name of the app is Notion, Notion, Notion. So you can install it on App Store or Play Store. So I come over here, I go to photo library. If I want to bring in a design or designs, as many as possible. So I just go ahead to do that. And you have them here. If you want to write some more text, what this helps you to do, you could just, refine. There are a lot of tools and features here, actually. You can even embed links. That is, you want to direct them to another link, maybe to your WhatsApp DM from here. You can write something like contact me. Now, this on yourself, something that you just have to come, check out later on. So I think this is the, link embed. So you can just put your WhatsApp link here. //234906. So you know your number. So that's pretty much it. Just come over to Notion and try to check out how it works. You see here that you can add a cover. So if you want a cover photo here, you already have this here. If you want to design it yourself, your gallery, and then design the cover that you want to put for your portfolio. A lot of things that Notion can help you to do beyond just having your designs here. So it's a more orderly way of you being able to put your design together. So I think, that's that about Notion. Any designer can use that, and it's simple. I think that's one of the simplest ways of creating your portfolio for beginners, where it's not complex, and then you can just do any, something simple for yourself. You can also, again, if you're able to go on Canva, I'm trying to look at time, so I don't want to be tempted to go to Canva to show you. But if you go on Canva, just try to create something very minimal in terms of your design, put together your words, and then arrange your design in a very, very nice way. So that's that about the first tool. That is the graphic design tool. The second one is file or cloud storage. And I mentioned here you could use Google Drive, right? You could use Dropbox. So some of us are probably already familiar with Google Drive. This is Google Drive here. So this young man here. So this is Google Drive. I'm not sure I have Dropbox anymore. I think I uninstalled. I wasn't using it, so just there. So if you go on Google Drive, here's what you can do. So you see that I have things here that's, I'm not sure I still have that. Okay, I have a portfolio here. Yes, the one I was using since 1980s when I was a baby. So when I was a baby designer, so I created this folder. Now here's how to create the folder. Simply click on the plus icon you are seeing at the bottom right of your screen. If you look at my screen here, the bottom right of your screen, click on it. Then you're going to see create folder. Once you do that, you can easily just write portfolio. So once you have your portfolio, here is the portfolio I just created, the folder I just created. All right, so once I have this, I can further on create more folders here. So for instance, if I want to have, let's say business flyers put together in one place. So I can have this here. You can also have maybe, I don't know, event flyers. I can have this here. Then you click on it, go to the plus icon again, the one at the bottom right, and upload the file that you want from your gallery. And that way you have all the designs well put together. For you to share, it's important that you want people to be able to have access to view it. So one thing is you want to grant access to people so that they don't have to start sending you requests all the time. So to do that, all you simply need to do, click on the three dots you see around the folder, right? I'm seeing these three dots. You can see the three dots on the right side of the folder. Let me do that again. You see the three dots on the right side of the folder. Then select Manage Access. Once you select Manage Access, you see here where it says Restricted. You click on Restricted and tap on Restricted again. So select anyone with link. Anyone with link can view. So leave it as can view so that once they have the link, they'll be able to view. You can copy the link from here. This icon here at the top right corner is a link. So I'll do that quickly again for those that could not catch it. Here's what I did. This is my folder that we just created. I clicked on the three dots at the bottom right of it. Then I selected Manage Access. And after doing this, I selected, this first one at the top right. Now I select it's already at anyone with a link. So make sure they have viewer access to it. So that's pretty much about using Google Doc. It's the same way you use Dropbox. So the third one is using portfolio platforms. So this is the one that I would recommend number 3 and 4. I recommend number 3 and 4, right, as a more professional way of presenting your portfolio. The first and second one are good if you're a beginner, but you can take it a step further by making use of portfolio platforms like Behance. I mentioned here we have Behance, we have Dribbble, we have Adobe Portfolio. So I have my portfolio on Behance. I have a few of my work on Dribbble. Now the advantage of using these ones are people get to check out your work even without you sending it to them, because there are other people on the platform. I'm not just saying it. I'll show you. This is the Behance icon here. This one here. So if you go on Behance, you'll be able to create your portfolio, a collection of your work in a very orderly manner, just like what you saw me do with the Google Doc. But this time around, you'll see that there are other people that will be able to view what you're doing, right? And they can always leave a comment. So this is just pretty much an example of what your portfolio platform looks like. It's kind of looking like Pinterest as well, but yeah. So these are my own works. If I want to upload something new, I just click on if you look at the bottom center of my screen, there's this blue plus icon. Once I tap on it, it allows me to add new project. And then from here, for some reasons, I've not been able to, let me see whether this, this works. The other phone doesn't. Okay. So you can add as many as you want, as many designs as you want here, right? So this is pretty much for uploading on Behance. So I have them in properly organized, collections. So you would see my, flyer, church flyer design. You see flyer designs, and you see book covers on its own. You see social media designs on its own. They're not just put anywhere. By the time you check, you'd see that people are actually viewing it, because some people come on Behance for inspiration, to get inspiration on design. So they come over here to see. So here is what a brand identity portfolio, the case study will look like, where it has full details about the project, what, the steps that I carried. I wanted to just show us that people are able to see people are able to comment. I'm trying to see. Yeah. So you see that I have over 1,398 views, and about 120 people 24 people have appreciated the project, the portfolio. So this is one of the ways where the reasons why we recommend this better, because it can even sell you in your absence. This portfolio can convince people when you are not there, right? So that's pretty much it with Behance. If you need me to give better clarity, do also always let me know in the chat. If you need me to go over something again, I would gladly do that. So do also let me know if you need some more clarity. So Behance is similar with Dribble. They are similar with each other. So I think Adobe Portfolio as well is almost okay. Someone is saying she did not understand the last explanation. What I was trying to explain is, moving on. What I was trying to say here is, I'm making use of Behance for my portfolio. The advantage is people are able to view your work from irrespective of the country that they are checking from, irrespective of their location. They're able to view your portfolio, and then if they want to work with you, they can easily just reach out to you because you'd have that set up somewhere around here, right, in your settings. So you'd have your details there for people that want to reach out to you. You can install Behance from Play Store. You can install what's it called now? What's the other one? Dribble from Play Store as well. This is free. For Behance, I think they have more of their features on. I'm sorry, for Dribble, more of their features are on Pro. So I guess that's why most people stay with Behance. So for Behance, it has the Pro version, of course, but you can. I did all of this with a free version. No need to pay anything. So to do this, I said for you to be able to create your portfolio, all you need to do is to make sure that they are well put together, well organized and orderly manner, such that you separate and segment each of them. Just like I've explained before for the Google Drive, if you need designs that are church flyers in a particular place, you can, I keep saying church flyer, I'm a church girl, sorry. So you can have them in this one. So this one is, I click on this UI design I did. So you see that it's just one. If I want to really go in depth, I can do a case study on this because it's UI. But to break it down so that I'm not confusing people that are still new to this, here's what you simply need to do. You see the plus icon at the bottom center of my screen, this blue plus icon that is in circle. Once I tap on it, it tells me to create new project or show a work in progress. And that only stays for 24 hours, like something I'm working on. If I want to showcase it, I can do that. But what I want to do now is to create a new project. So if you come over here, it takes you to your gallery, and then you can select as many designs that you want in that particular file, right, project. So once you've done that, once I do this, I click on next, and then I give it a title. So I can just write portfolio design. If I want to put some hashtag, just to tag them. If I want to add any other settings to it, I can go ahead to do that. So this is graphic design, save. So if I want to just go ahead to publish, I click on publish, and then this goes live. Once this is live, if anybody goes to my Behance profile, just go on Behance and search for my name, Esther Kojo. My profile should come up. And once that comes up, you'll be able to view this project on my profile. So we've just created a mini project now. It's showing now. This is an example. And with this now, you see this is already in my profile. And I have this as one of my projects. So that's pretty much how to set up your portfolio on Behance. It's very simple. And there's just so much to be done regarding it. So that's done. I think the last one I wanted to talk about is the website builders. So there are certain websites that you can use to build your portfolio where they provide templates. Now, when I got to know about using websites to build a portfolio, I felt like it was only for people that are web designers. So I did not stress myself. I just left it for those that knew how to use it. I went to Behance on my own. But recently, I think I got to know that you could actually create a portfolio website on you could actually create, I'm not sure I get what you want me to repeat, please, Charles. Let me know what you want me to repeat. So you could actually create a portfolio website on Google site without having to pay a dime for it. And then people get access to check it out from, all across, anywhere they see the link, right? So you can create a website with Wix, although I haven't really tried that, but I've heard that oftentimes. The one I tried out recently, I think I'm still working on the portfolio. It's not done yet. So I think that was on Google site. So you can just go on Google site. This is something I'm working on, not yet done, but it kind of gives a glimpse of what I do. So this way, people can come over here, see, the portfolio of what I've done before, what I've worked on before, and then the things are showing. I also have the brands I've worked with. I have, the service I offer. I have the contacts and everything that I mentioned. So I think there's supposed to be, there's the client's testimony and all of that. So that way, if you're using the Google site, it's kind of going to give it it's a website anyways, but I don't think you have to pay anything for it. So all you have to do is go to sites.google.com. If I come over here and search for sites.google.com, so it's going to take me to how I can set up. So I created that website I showed you with Google Sites, which is what I'm showing you now. But I think for this one, you need a laptop for you to be able to create a website with it. So you will need to have access to a laptop or a desktop, right, for you to be able to use it too. So if you have a desktop, you have a laptop, you could actually create a portfolio website. You see the difference now that this one is more, the one I showed you, that it's much more compelling than just putting together designs, right? That way you can even talk about what you do, share testimonials and all of that. So I think I'm going to pause here. I've exhausted most of the things I had in mind. And yeah, thank you very much, everyone. So that's pretty much the session for this evening. I'd love to know if you have any questions so I can attend to them in the next 2-3 minutes. So I hope you learned something from the class tonight. I hope you learned something from the class tonight. I hope you learned something from tonight's webinar. And I hope with this, you'll be able to start up with building portfolio. I've shown you several ways now. So you have literally no excuse for not having a portfolio. And here is the challenge. I would employ every one of us to take it upon as your personal project. Take it as your gifts to yourself for next month, for the month of March that we're entering tomorrow, that you make sure you have a good portfolio, right, before the end of March. So how many of us are going to do this? That you're going to take it as a personal project for yourself to create a portfolio before the end of March. So that is going to be like an assignment for you before the end of March. How many of us are going to do it? Okay, I'm seeing Isaac is saying he will. Thank you. Adeleye Ezra. Yes, thank you very much. Only a few people. Some people don't want to. Don't only be the hearers of the word, but also doers. So make sure you're not just hearing me speak, but also doing it. And make sure you don't need to have logos for you to have a portfolio. So I did not, but I didn't have I still don't have a personal brand logo for myself. I think it was recently I just launched my design agency, and that's when I had to create a portfolio. So you don't need a logo for you to create a portfolio. I hope that answers the question. So if we've got any question, now is the time. I have just about a minute left. I have a minute left. So do well to put it as one of your plan for this month. Right. I did not say you don't need a logo, but you don't need a logo to create a portfolio. You can always do a portfolio without a logo. But if you you definitely can still work on a logo afterwards, but don't let that be the excuse for not creating a portfolio. So you've literally got no excuse. And this doesn't only apply to designers. If you do other things as well, or that if you have other skills, these things, the tools I've shared with us, can help you in creating a portfolio. So make sure you're not that designer that's always get stranded when opportunities comes because they don't have a portfolio. Make sure that you are not that designer that has old designs in your portfolio. Make sure you are not that designer that is waiting till you are perfect before you create a portfolio. Make sure to start creating now. Start creating with the little you have. Put together your best work, and I believe strongly that this is going to really come in handy for you in year 2025. Thank you. Okay, for Isaac that is asking for a class on video animation or voiceover class, I will think about that or pray about it. Okay, so all right. Thank you very much. In the absence of any question, I think we can call it a day, and we're going to continue next month, March. So apparently today is the last day in the month of where are we now? February. Yeah, today is the last day in the month of February, and that simply means that this month is over. And remember the things that we spoke about last month when I talked about starting the year right. And if you missed that, you can go on my YouTube channel. You see the replay of the video. So the year is going. January is gone. February is gone. We have just 10 months left. Do well to maximize this coming month. Make sure to have your goals articulated for the next month clearly, and make sure that you're running with a focus, right? You have something that you are really pushing to get for next month. Do not just let the month pass by. Set your financial goal. Set your goal as a designer, and make sure you work towards it tirelessly. So on this note, I also pray that for as many of us as we work towards this, as we're putting the portfolio together, by next month, by God's grace, that you get your testimony job. I pray that it brings you favor. You will not just do it for the sake of doing it, but it's going to give you the kind of results that you want. I pray that in the new month as you go, that you find God's favor. I pray that new doors are opened unto you. I pray that new clients come your way, and when the opportunity comes, you receive the grace to not miss them, in Jesus' name. So thank you very much, everyone. I wish you the best in the coming month. I wish you the best in the coming month. Make sure to keep growing, make sure to keep learning until we meet again. I remain your designer friend, Esther Akodo, and Happy New Month to everyone in advance. So do well to share in the WhatsApp group. Just let me know one thing that you learned that stood out for you from this session. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful weekend.